Hello, hello, Shagathon here. Welcome back to Genshin Impact here on the 18th of December 2022 local time, 1835. Alrighty. So, Paimon had something to say. I don't know if she's going to finish the dialogue or not, but it was like, hey, you'll never guess what I just heard. Yeah, no. I hit escape. Wait.
But, if it's a test of courage, that means it's probably gonna be scary, right? So, if we join, Paimon's gonna let you go first.
Alright, there we go. That was part of it, I guess. Okay, so spoilers have happened. This is one I've been kind of not wanting to talk about for over a patch now. Because it started in 3.2 and I was like, alright, they're spoiling all kinds of stuff in the launcher already in 3.2. Maybe even, yeah, no, I think 3.2. And I did load this up the other day. Last week, I did not play when I was planning on it because I accidentally let my morning stream go for about 7 or 8 hours. And it was like, oops. Like, I mean, I knew it, but I just could not stop playing Star Ocean that day. And I was still planning on it, but I was like, man, it's so late now that if I do take a break and then come on for even a couple hours, it's going to be way too late. So I checked to make sure, and the banner is still active. It still had like 15 days left or something last I checked. But I did do a poll, but I didn't get anything new. So there's more spoilers. The banner itself is a spoiler. So let's check it out. Yep, there is our character there, Wanderer. And it's called From Ashes Reborn. So to me, that's a pretty bad spoiler there. They showed a preview of Wanderer. We'll just call him Wanderer. They showed a preview of Wanderer in the 3.2 launcher, and I was like, wow, you would just do that? So this is a playable character. Which tells us a lot about things, and that sucks because I think that's what this quest is going to be about. But I wish it would have been a surprise quest, and then after that we get the banner, rather than like a patch after the quest or something, rather than like, oh, the banner itself spoils stuff that's going to be happening. So I didn't want to talk about this. I didn't know when this was going to happen. But I didn't want to talk about this during some of the last quests, even though like I said, the launcher itself had already shown a preview of this, and that kind of frustrated me. So let's do some wishes now. Let's go ahead and get them. We have a new character. Oh, here we are. Farazan. I have no idea who that is. Looks cryo-ish. Or is that Animo? Oh, it's Animo, yeah. I didn't notice the icon here. So we'll skip the rest. Oh, we got two of her. Cool. And now we're gonna go for Wanderer. No idea who that is. A third already. No, that's terrible. It's just weapons. Oh, don't tell me I'm gonna hit one of those polls where it's like, you have to get rid of weapons first. I have had that happen. We gotta be pretty close. Yeah, there's one. Who's it gonna be? Not you. Not you. That is not a Wanderer. That is a Gene. Alright, well, actually, no, we'll keep going, because I have gotten double 5 stars before. I think it was the last banner where I got a double 5 star, and I was like, wait, what? And it was the banner character, too. I was like, oh, I lost the 50-50, and then it was and then the banner character also showed up. Okay. So we're gonna max her out, basically, aren't we? Depends on how long it takes to get Wanderer. Oh, this is Wanderer, because we just lost the 50-50. There we go. Animo. Interesting. From Ashes Reborn. Not Electro. Are you not who I think you are? We can go into the character menu. And
I created another universe and founded paradise for...
these. Alright, so we'll back out of this. And where are you? I leveled up Yanfei a bit, didn't I? Because we just got another one of her. Oh, I forgot about you. Oh yeah, we got D-Luke. That's the one we got where I was like, ah, it's a repeat. Bit more? No, it's something else. Oh, cool. Right, where are you? Here you are. I mean, you're even wearing the hat thing. A wayfaring figure whose identity is a mystery. Dresses like a mountain ascetic, but he certainly does not act the part. He needs not introduce himself. Alright, this is maybe going to be more interesting than I thought.
There's no such thing as pure freedom in this world. Even the wind cannot blow on forever. You think I've got a sharp tongue? I just tell it like it is. If someone can't handle it, maybe that's their problem. There's no need to exchange pleasantries. It's rather pathetic to force a conversation just to occupy silence.
Combat sounds.
The wind rises. Behold! Squall and fury.
Alright. Affiliation none. Knights of Favonius, yeah. Okay.
Do worry about the well-being of my retinue during my impromptu absence.
Now.
I'm sure the good people of the Adventurers Guild are absolutely fine.
Test of Courage, that's the event. We're gonna come over here. I was afraid of this. I think there was a another quest we had to do that we could have done, and I missed some time, but I never know which ones it is. It says, Acer Palmatum. Here it is. Which one is this? You and Paimon travel near Byakko Plain on your journey. I could go look it up in the menu, but let's be surprised by it, because I don't know which one this is. I don't know where Byakko Plain is either. So I guess we're going to be doing this first. So we'll start this tonight. We'll hopefully finish this tonight. And then I'll probably do the next one next week. I wonder who the next banner is. So, am I to understand correctly that the first banner of a patch is a new character and the second one is a repeat? Well, we have two 5-star banners at once, but you know what I mean. The point being, a little Fennec, I love it. The point being that, oh, that's far. Is it an Inazuma? It is. But this is what it said to do. We'll just go here. So, That means the next patch when that banner expires, or not patch, but the next banner after this one expires, Wanderer, will be
Ozzy,
2
my
repeats.
Dear familiar.
Ozzy,
Blot out the
what's
sun.
gotten into you?
Her Majesty beseeches you to unfurl your blessed wings, and with them blot out the heavens, plunging the world into eternal night.
If you didn't bring your parasol with you, that's your own fault, mein Fräulein.
I love it. Oh yeah, let's see what this is. I would assume it's going to be one of the new characters if it's tied to...
A while since we first set foot on Inazuma.
If it's tied to the new Archon quests and stuff. Well, I don't know, because we don't know where that quest is going to take place, but I'm just going to say that looks like... Am I wrong? Is this like my Fantasia? Is that not the Balladeer? From Ashes Reborn as well? I'm just saying. So I would assume that's going to take place in Sumeru.
So many things have happened since then.
As if in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, we've definitely made some progress on our journey. So,
Happy Lumine.
where should we go today?
Wait a moment.
Huh? What's up?
What if it's... Arataki... No. What's this sword? Someone's coming.
Hey! What the heck was that for? Doesn't want to talk, huh? Alright, let's convince him to calm down a little.
No, we know it's not an Ito quest because it would have been Act 2, not Act 1. So this is someone's quest that we haven't done yet.
Huh? So you don't have a vision after all?
Well, the characters that thought you do.
Seems like I've mistaken you for someone else.
At the very least, you should make sure you've got the right person before you go attacking them. No, wait! Even when you've got the right person, you shouldn't go attacking them out of the blue. It's dangerous.
Have you ever met someone by the name of Kaedahara Kazuha?
Yes?
He carries a sword just like you. I've also heard that he possesses an animo vision.
Why are you looking for him?
That's none of your business. Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
Is it a Kazuha quest? Did we not do one?
What the heck is this guy's problem? Coming around here, waving that weird sword in our faces, and he didn't even apologize. Seems like a real nutcase. Well,
I like the
one
way she
thing's
said
for
that.
Sure. No way are we telling him anything about Kazuha.
The lighting on those trees and stuff's so good, like the orange going into the purple and all that. I love it. Couldn't agree more.
Right? Paimon has a feeling, though, that even if this guy gets to challenge Kazuha to a duel, he won't be able to beat him. Anyway, just to be on the safe side, we should go fight Kazuha right away and tell him to watch his back.
Back there as well. Looks so good. Actually, I have a hunch.
Oh? What kind of hunch?
I think this guy may have a special connection to Kazuha.
A special connection? You mean beyond already knowing each other?
I can't say for sure, but I feel like their fighting styles are kind of similar.
Yeah, maybe a little. But then again, most people look pretty much the same once they start fighting, so that doesn't really prove anything.
Those hilly trolls back there just jamming. Just hanging out. I love it.
Anyway, there's no time to lose. Let's go tell Kazuha so we won't get into any danger. Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look for him there.
Alrighty, a strange and friendless road. So I guess it's a Kazuha quest. Interesting. Unless this is a very weird introduction to somebody else's quest. I gotta say this the right way.
Insubordination!
I do have to say this the right way. I hope this is not a super long quest. I hope I can beat it within like the 3-ish hours, basically.
No rest.
Probably shouldn't have done that one, but it's fine. It's kind of far, but not that bad. Ooh, a chest. So I should be able to take this across the water, but then I won't be able to get to the chest.
Solidify!
Don't try to zap me.
I condemn you.
I kind of like how we're just normal people. And because we have an elemental affiliation, doesn't mean that we just automatically absorb all of that element forever. We still, like, we're normal people. If we get zapped, we still get zapped. If we get burned, we still get burned. And so on. What's going on here? That's an interesting one. What if I was supposed to take that through... through where that chest was at? What if this thing would get me through? It could be the case. One day I'll probably find that again, and I'll give it a proper try. Yeah, what I was saying is... I like when the quests... So there have been some good, really lengthy quests, but I like when they're like a decent, moderate length without going way overboard. Sometimes, like that last Archon quest, I've said it before, I kind of feel like should have been split into two somewhere. I wouldn't mind if it was still in the same patch, but as a single quest, it's a lot, because you never know, well, how much more is in this quest. If I stop now, is there just 15 minutes left, or are there 2 hours left? So you don't really have a good indication of when to stop. If you're like, man, it's been going a while and I gotta do something else, but I want to see the end. It sucks when you think there's a lot of time left, you get back and there's only like 10 or 15 minutes. It's like, whoa, well, that's over. You don't want to do that.
Hey! Hello? Do you know where Kazuha is?
The negative zone.
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all.
2?
Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, as soon as we entered the harbor, we ran into a huge crowd of Inazumans, all of them wanting to know about Kazuha. If it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention. Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the captain, but she just laughs it off.
Oh, so you still don't know what he did?
I've heard bits and pieces. It's something about him blocking the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be?
You could compare it to the technique Beto used to strike down Haishan.
Really? Wow. When you put it like that, it all makes sense. In that case, his newfound stardom is well deserved. He was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryo Commission. They said they had something important to discuss with him.
It's a trap.
I thought they'd come to arrest him at first. Turns out they couldn't have been friendlier to him. Seems like they really respect the guy.
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable.
Is this an old quest? Could we have done this a long time ago? I don't remember. We didn't unlock it just now, so it's existed, but I don't know when it was brought in. Because this could have been right after Inazuma, like right after 2.1. The Shogunate probably wants to show some goodwill. After all, the Raiden Shogun's mindset has changed.
Thank you! Guess we'll go pay a visit to the Tenryou Commission.
All right then. I'll just stay here and carry on trying to fend off the crowd.
One day I'm also going to need to get a list of the Aranara and just brute force through that quest with the list. I hear that's really... I don't know what people are considering, but I've heard that described as like a 10-hour quest. And I don't know what they're considering as the Aranara quest, because we've done a lot of it already with the what was the lady's name? It wasn't Arana, was it? Her name was also similar, like everything in that quest sounds the same. Arana, Aranara, Nara, maybe that was her name, I don't even know. Nara I think is Aranara's name for people, right? For human. Damn it. This wall sucks. Oh my god. Come on. Fine, I'll go another way. Jesus Christ, why does that wall suck so much?
For residency and retail, please submit completed forms here.
Back in Inazuma proper. That's a far 900 meters. You know what? We're just gonna warp. Yeah, there's so many similar names there, and we've done a lot where we were helping that girl out, and then she got like captured and everything. I think there were some kids and stuff that we talked to in that little in Port Ormos or whatever. There's a lot that has already happened, and I think we just have to go search for the Aranaras, find them all. I don't know how much of that is the 10-hour part that I've heard people say. And I don't know if that was just a random number or how accurate it was.
Oh? It's you.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt Decree. Since you're here, you're very welcome to listen in on the conversation. We invited Mr. Kaidahara here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the Shogunate. Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct my clan's past mistakes, and for that, I'm deeply grateful. The Almighty Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least easing, the tensions that have built up over the years. The Tri-Commission has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaidahara name. Regarding the history of the Kaidahara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed?
I've heard a thing or two.
In short, there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the Shogun directly, responsible for upholding and further developing the traditional blade forging arts of the Almighty Shogun. The Kaidahara clan belonged to this class. But there came a time when some of these bladesmiths revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both the Kaidahara and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight and entered a period of great turmoil. We later learned that the whole misadventure had been secretly orchestrated by the Fatui. Attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato and Kaidahara clans was neither proper nor just. Considering Mr. Kaidahara has once more made an outstanding contribution to Inazuma, the Almighty Shogun believes he should not only be rewarded for his achievements, but also receive recompense for the excessive punishment borne by his clan in the past.
That sounds like a good start.
In the interest of preventing further harassment of the Bladesmith clans by the Fatui, we chose not to publicly release the findings of our investigations into these matters. We trust you can understand why this was necessary.
This is a true honor. I am delighted to be in a position to receive the goodwill of the Almighty Shogun and the Shogunate at large. However, would I be correct to assume that this magnanimous gesture does not come without some strings attached?
I can assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. We seek only to correct a past injustice. With the Kaedahara clan's reputation and occupation restored, the Kaedaharas will be bladesmiths once more, and your wanderings will finally come to an end. You will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma City with the Almighty Shogun's blessing and full support of the Shogunate.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would no longer feel at home behind the tall walls of a stately abode. Yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaedahara, and the art of blade making for which it stood. I do have a responsibility to restore their honor.
I sense some hesitation in your words. Should you accept this offer, I imagine many of the malicious rumors currently circulating through the populace will disappear.
Malicious rumors? All we heard on the way here was so much praise that we almost wondered whether there was another Kaedahara Kazuha in town.
Yeah, that smug look.
Well, to some, the Muso no Hitotachi is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaedahara really parried the Shogun's strike. Also, eyewitnesses saw him using the power of Electro in addition to that of Animo. As a result, the falsehood that Kaedahara Kazuha was using a delusion began to spread.
What? But that doesn't make sense. Using a delusion turns you old and frail, and Kazuha still looks fine.
Yeah, come on. He just went Super Saiyan, remember?
That is correct. However, to some people, the idea of a single person wielding two elements at once is a more inconceivable notion still.
This is just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject of public discussion, no matter whether it brings suspicion or stardom my way. But perhaps if the Shogunate is willing to publicly support me, this situation will blow over more quickly.
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious thought. It stands to benefit all of us.
Please allow me some time to consider. In fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment. Well then, what brings the two of you here?
Yikes! We nearly forgot about the most important thing!
You and Paimon recount the attack on the outskirts of town to Kazuha.
Why would such a dangerous individual be looking for me?
Could it be someone you trained with under the same master?
No. This puzzles me as much as it does you. My fighting forms were taught to me by my family, based on techniques originally developed for blade testing. We undergo rigorous training to standardize every motion the blade is put through, so that each can be fairly assessed for quality. Over time, these techniques came to form something of a Kaedahara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a full repertoire of combat forms. Those forms are quite different from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to imagine that the similarity you speak of was coincidence alone.
All the more reason to watch your back! This guy was a serious nutcase.
Indeed. He sounds highly aggressive. Anyone he targets is at risk of serious injury, or worse.
In that case, I will send some men out immediately to search for him.
Thank you. I must say I am now very curious about this matter, and I will also need some time to consider your offer. I will first join the Traveler in investigating the one who attacked her, then give you a conclusive answer upon my return.
Very well. Please stay safe.
Come on. Let's go and track down your aggressor.
Alright, let's do it.
The detective agency knows the most about what goes on in town. Let's see what Ryuji has to say.
Let me double check one thing. It does say Acer, Palmatum. Okay, just double checking, because this seems I'm curious how it's gonna I guess Kazuha's gonna be there. I guess it's gonna rely on lore from this quest. I just really want to double check. Like, at this point, I've already started it, so I'd probably just keep going. But I was thinking about it near the end of that session of dialogue. Like, oops, maybe if I'm doing the wrong thing, then I'll do extra time next week. I'm gonna be off work the week after, or rather, yeah, so next week actually, I'll be off work. Was it the 26, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever? I'm off from this Friday until the 3rd, like including those days. Actually, no, I think we go back on the 3rd. I don't know. We go back on that Tuesday after, like, in January. So if I go a little bit long next week, it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna get up early for work.
Welcome to Bonton Saga Detective Agency.
Oh, I remember you.
Hey there! We'd like to ask you a quick question.
Who is man that's attacking us?
Do you know if anyone around here has been looking for him? For Kaidahara Kazuha, we mean.
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaidehara. I've heard a lot about you. It is an honor to finally meet you today.
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate any help you can offer.
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Let me think. I can't seem to recall anything of immediate interest. Mr. Kaidehara is currently the talk of the town, so there are always a lot of people looking for him. To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been receiving many inquiries from people wishing to obtain Mr. Kaidehara's personal information. Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want. If these were more legitimate commissions, Sango would have snapped them up in an instant.
Millions? Of Mora? Whoa! Oh, wait. Even at that price, you probably still shouldn't.
Please, accept my thanks for looking out for my privacy.
Of course. No matter what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our money by revealing details of other people's day-to-day life just for the sake of it. Sorry, I got a little off topic. What I'm really trying to say is, it doesn't surprise me that a complete stranger is looking for Mr. Kaidehara. But I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect this with an assault.
You see that cat right there? But it's listening. It's eavesdropping. Calling it now.
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been any other attacks or similar incidents recently that stand out as particularly unusual? The Tenryou Commission had very few leads. I thought you might have some information from different sources.
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But typically, it's only the most trivial events that manage to escape their attention. If anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault, in which case the Tenryou Commission would absolutely get involved.
That does make sense. Uh-oh. Looks like the trail's already run cold.
I still find it difficult to believe that whoever attacked you hasn't been causing any trouble elsewhere. Few people possess your prowess in battle. So unless you were the first person he targeted, someone is certain to have been hurt by now.
Is this your way of giving praise?
I am well aware of your talents. There is no need to be humble around me. In fact, I'm quite relieved that you were the one he targeted.
You trying to smash Lumine or something? What's up?
It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured or lose their life because of me. For the poor victim, this would be a completely senseless crime.
Don't worry, we'll find him.
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaidehara. Surely this same concern for your fellow man is what drove you to fearlessly raise your blade against the almighty Shogun.
You flatter me. Truth be told, I don't know quite what came over me in that moment.
Yeah, he went Super Saiyan. The first time, you kind of don't have control of yourself.
You are much too humble. Don't worry, I completely understand your concerns. I will try my best to gather whatever leads I can for you. Oh, actually, there was one strange incident over the last few days. It doesn't involve an attack, though. Let me tell you about it just in case.
Sure. During times like this, the more information we have, the better.
All right then. Recently, 2 people went missing from the city at around the same time. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other, Amenoma Yuya, is a samurai from the Amenoma clan.
Amenoma. Now there's a familiar name.
Right. Yuya is the nephew of Amenoma Togo, the owner of Amenoma Smithy. 2 grown men going missing at the same time. Their cases are likely connected, but I don't know much in the way of details. I recalled this because Amenoma Yuya is also an accomplished martial artist who is skilled with the blade. Perhaps he is the one you are looking for.
Understood, though it seems highly unlikely to me. I neither know this man, nor do I have any idea why he may wish to attack me.
See the cat? He reacted. Even meowed. We'll investigate both incidents at the same time.
Sure, can't hurt. We never know what we might find out along the way.
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start by making some inquiries at the Amenoma Smithy.
Sounds good. All the best with your investigation. I'll get moving shortly myself.
Quest is currently involved in the mysterious urban legend. I hate when that happens. Oh no. That's another real quest. You plan to visit the Yai publishing house, but after arriving in Hanamizaka, you find that it is more lively than usual here. Oh, we're gonna have some work to do. 3.3 is blocked, isn't it? It's double blocked. Is this the house? This was the, some lady that, like, left. I don't quite remember now, but she like, left in the middle of the night or something, and her parents live here. I remember this house.
We haven't been to the Yai publishing house in a while. Paimon wonders if they have any new books in. The one we read with A that time was pretty cool.
Come on, this is a no-brainer, man. There's only one thing worth wishing for, and that is a ton of Mora.
I'd wish for a 3rd nipple, but okay.
But the exam's next week. If I fail again, I'm seriously done for. I'm better off wishing that my exam goes smoothly.
It's just an exam. Trust me, there's no problem you can't solve by throwing Mora at it. If it doesn't work, then just keep throwing till it does.
What are they arguing about? It's quite a spirited debate.
He's mean mugging us.
Huh? Really? You guys don't know? You need but stand on this land at midnight, lower your head and recite a special incantation, then your wish will come true.
Is it from a novel?
Looks like you guys really aren't in the loop. This, my friends, is the next big thing. A highly effective wish ritual guaranteed to make your wishes come true.
A wish ritual? That actually works?
This does not sound credible.
Right? Even Paimon knows that's just not how the world works.
I didn't believe it at first either, but that changed when it worked for someone I know. It's this guy called Kunihiko. He's practically always been unemployed, wastes his days away, and he owes a lot of money. Like a lot. But get this, I don't see him for a few days, and suddenly I find him dressed to the nines and feasting at a high-class restaurant. I heard it directly from him. He used this wishing ritual, and the next day he woke up to find his whole bed filled high with Mora.
His whole bed was filled with... Wow!
Paimon, calm down. You're so excited you can barely get the words out.
Of course, I'm sure the part about waking up lying on a bed of Mora is a bit of an exaggeration. Whether you believe it or not, it's not exactly a difficult ritual. It can't hurt to give it a try, right?
In your case, it might actually work because of placebo. If you think this thing is going to help you pass your exam, then you're going to lose a lot of the anxiety and the nerves, and you might do better because of that.
If you're still feeling skeptical, just ask around. There are a lot of very compelling stories going around these days.
Really? Well, come on! Let's go ask around right now, shall we?
Why the sudden urgency?
Well, if it really is true, then just think of all the more a Paimon could... Oh, and you'd finally be reunited with your twin too. Let's go, let's go!
Yeah, about that. Divina Volpes. I think that is Yai. I mean, we did talk about the publishing house as well. I think that's Yai Miko. Volpes is Fox, so it kind of makes sense. Now, the question I have is the other one we were doing open again? It seems like it. So, for some reason, that was blocking us from this, which is goofy. What I would like, unless there's a logical reason that one needs to happen before the other, I would like if whatever quest you have active just takes precedence.
Ah, if it isn't Kaede Harakazuha, what brings you here today?
Huh? You two know each other?
Yes, the Kaedehara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokaden. Historically, there have always been deep links between the two clans. After I returned to Inazuma, I visited Mr. Amenoma to pay my respects.
Raiden Gokaden?
Ah, let me quickly explain. The Raiden Gokaden was the collective term for the 5 most acclaimed bladesmithing arts in Inazuma. The techniques of blade making were personally bequeathed to the Raiden Gokaden by the almighty Shogun, and over time, further honed and enhanced by the most talented craftsmen. Unfortunately, a series of events led to the gradual decline of many clans in the bladesmithing trade. Today, only the Amenoma clan has kept its art alive.
So sad.
It is a great pity indeed. In the old days, we each had our specialties. And just as iron sharpens iron, so too did we learn much from each other. As an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the abiding patience and determination of water as it turns stone to sand. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out, until both body and mind have memorized the craft, turning each motion of every technique into an intrinsic part of the bladesmith's life. As for the art of the Kaedehara clan, I believe it's called the Ishin art.
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind from the moment that forging begins. For only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker's thoughts and feelings, and eventually become an extension of its wielder's will.
Indeed. Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedehara clan has fallen on hard times, its ideals and virtues are alive and well.
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal sentiments, not by any noble aspirations on behalf of my clan.
You just happen to agree with them.
But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some information on your missing nephew.
I actually like that though. He's not doing it because that's just the way it is. He's doing it because he believes in it.
We hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn out that this case is connected to another we are pursuing.
Ah, yes. My nephew. I reported the case to the Tenryo Commission, but I haven't heard anything back so far. He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. I'm still completely at a loss on what to make of it. But I've done what I can so far. Worrying is futile. All I can do now is wait for the news from the Tenryo Commission.
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance too. Know anything about that?
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very cryptic look and said that he was going to give me a great gift. I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato after that. The next thing I heard was that a fire had broken out at the warehouse, and neither of them came back.
A fire?
Yes. Strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have caused it. Unfortunately, there was very little evidence left behind, so nobody knows what really happened.
Do you have any thoughts on what Yuya may have wanted to give you?
If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon. Otherwise, there would have been no reason for him to get my hopes up. He's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing, and can sense even the most minute differences in blade quality. He is extraordinarily talented in martial arts, particularly when it comes to the art of the sword.
Truth be told, we have some information that you may find to be objectionable. The person we are looking for, he attacked this friend of mine. Based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only Yuya seems to match the suspect's profile.
What? No. Absolutely impossible. Yuya is not that kind of person. He is humble and kind. Even his training is done with the goal of calming his mind. He has never gotten into a fight before.
Is that so?
Yes. If there's one thing I can say for certain, it's that Yuya would never draw his blade without a very good reason. But, with that said, it's equally out of character for him to just disappear with neither farewell nor fair warning. I also cannot know what course of action he might be capable of if coerced or otherwise compelled by circumstances unbeknownst to me. Anyway, should you find him, please let me know as soon as possible.
Don't worry, you have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
We still need to get the info from the Nagato family.
Yes. It sounds as if something happened when the two men met each other. Let's pay a visit to the Nagato household.
The plot thickens. As it always does in these quests, it's never very simple, is it? Oh, I was like, are you gonna make me climb? What's going on here? I'm so proud of myself right now. I feel like I accomplished something good. Just before stream, I was running a little late because I was just cleaning stuff up on the computer, cleaning out, just deleting some old accounts and stuff from websites that I don't use anymore. Stuff like that. Housekeeping kind of stuff, if you will. But then, when I finished that, I actually set up the schedule on Twitch. So for the few people who check that, it's nice to be able to see what's coming up later and exactly when. And it'll hopefully hold me a bit more accountable to those times. I'm trying to get back into that mood that I used to be in when I first started the stream, and it felt good. It felt like, I don't know if bittersweet is the word or whatever, but it took me back, man. It took me back over 2 years to when I used to set those schedules every single week and stick to them perfectly. And I never missed a stream for a very long time. I think I streamed every day for 8 months or more before I took that first little hiatus for about 2 months. I think I literally made every day, even one day when the only time I've ever been in an ambulance, when I had a vasovagal response to something, and they didn't really do much. They just checked me and made sure that it didn't look like I had any problems with my head or whatever because I hit my head. But even that day, I still made my stream. It was just an odd, a very low energy day kind of after that, because I was just like, man, that really screwed me up. But yeah, I made like, I don't think I missed a single day until after that hiatus, and then it got a little bit iffy, but it just felt good. It felt, I don't know how to explain it. She's doing the Picard thing. She cute though.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now. My husband has gone missing, and I'm still trying to find him.
No, you misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation. We'd like to ask you some questions about Mr. Nagato's disappearance, if we may.
Ah, I see. I thought the debt collectors had come to visit again. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new information come out? Do you know where he's gone?
I'm afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. We're still trying to find out as much as we can to inform our search. With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some questions about your family's current situation?
For example, Paimon's struggling to understand why a collector would be strapped for Mora.
That's a long story. Ever since I've known him, he's been an avid collector of all sorts of things. He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how enthusiastic and excited they made him, I was happy to believe that they were just extremely important to him. Everything was fine when we first got married, but as time went by, things changed for the worse.
Uh-oh, what happened?
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money just so he could pay for them. Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There were days when he'd spend hours down at the warehouse, admiring his weapons even as debt collectors were descending upon our house. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there staring at them like he was in a trance. I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to come first. I've tried talking to him about it so many times, but he never listens. On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectibles and pay off his debts, I would divorce him and take the children with me.
Whoa!
And that led to an argument.
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. On most things, he leaves the decision-making to me. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, he awkwardly mumbled that he would pick out a few items to sell. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family?
It's important to set boundaries.
Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses, or if he was simply angry with me. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
I see. I understand. Ame no Yuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato. During the sale, a fire broke out at the warehouse, and both men disappeared.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an argument over the price.
Or it's all a plot.
But my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's hard to imagine him getting into a fierce argument.
Isn't that a weird thing? I guess it depends on where you live, but bartering is not a thing you see much in Western... Well, I should say in the US. I can't speak for all of Western society. Europe does do a lot of things very differently, but bartering is not something you see much. There are particular kinds of stores that you can go to where bartering is a thing, but for the most part, it is very much... when I say bartering, I mean like haggling, negotiating. There are particular kind of places you can go where you can negotiate. There are some places where you can do a little bit of bartering and say, hey, I got this thing as well. How about we try to make this trade instead? You don't really see that much here. Outside of very particular kinds of establishments.
Maybe he was feeling the pressure from the debts?
It's just money for product or service.
I don't know. He just disappeared after the warehouse burned down. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire, and he's got no way to pay off our debts. Even though I'm still a little mad at him, we're a family, and I want us to face our family's crisis together. As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
Please don't get upset. There could be more to this situation than meets the eye. If collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, it is quite unusual for this habit to change so drastically over a short period. But the information we gathered from the other side suggests Ame no Yuya is also a mild-mannered man who would not be likely to start an argument. This situation is getting a little confusing.
Yeah, so it's a fair point, so there could be a third party as well.
A little confusing? More like completely mystifying.
Let's try a change of scenery and see if we can piece together what we've learned. Rest assured, we'll notify you if we find anything.
What's up, Kazuya? Trying to get Lumine alone?
Thank you so much. I just want him to come home.
Alright, where to? Or is it a auto... Okay, it is.
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men was somehow the catalyst for their disappearance.
Indeed.
The fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation unfolded, though its exact role is a mystery.
Let's go be an arson investigator or whatever. I forget what they're called. Let's go investigate the fire.
Do you have any thoughts?
Well, Paimon was thinking that maybe someone accidentally knocked over an oil lamp and...
It's possible. But it's very suspicious for them to both disappear.
Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
We are still missing crucial information. I would go with perhaps the fire was deliberately used to hide the truth. But, we're gonna say we're still missing... I feel like that might be jumping a little bit. Because we don't... That's a fair thing. Perhaps it was deliberately used, but it's just a guess. And I would say we're missing crucial information, which means we investigate.
Right. I very much agree with you. It seems highly likely that we're missing a piece of the puzzle. Working off what we know so far, there are too many things that don't add up. The chances are that there are still some clues left for us to discover.
Let's Scooby-Doo this-ish.
One fact that I keep coming back to is that Ame no Yuya is polite and well-mannered. while Mr. Nagato is introverted and passive. Neither Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fire.
He paused for a long time and my brain said it's time. He basically said neither one seems like they would, you know, start a conflict.
The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just what could have happened there?
This also doesn't seem connected to the case of the attacker. Yet.
Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, no other details that we've learned seem to link the two events together. Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker, namely that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of Amenoma art, not those of the combat-oriented Ishin art.
Darn! We thought we could get 2 birds with 1 stone here, but at this rate, it's starting to look like a wild goose chase.
Let's keep going, since we've come this far. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato will be able to get some closure.
Okay, but where should we go now?
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. There's still a chance we may be able to find some shreds of evidence.
Yep, that's what I said. Called it. Wait. Go to the warehouse where the fire broke out. It was guiding me to a side quest. Did you see that? I was like, what? 'Cause I noticed it was blue. Did we get an inside view of her head for a second? Did we get the eyeball thing? How did I do it? I wasn't sprinting, I guess. Now, this is gonna sound weird, but for a second I thought I saw like Dr. Robotnik's face. Oh, don't ask. Something weird happened when I dropped off there. I hope I remember to check that in the footage. We could get that, but I don't feel like it.
Wait.
Someone
I hear
approaches.
something ominous in the wind.
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
I knew we could count on you.
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the direction it left in. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma, the remnants of the Tatarigami.
That's one thing I didn't expect to encounter here.
Indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may prove to be of benefit to our investigation. We should remain vigilant and approach slowly.
Huh! So it's an underground warehouse.
The force is definitely coming from down below. The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place, but the residue it left behind still hasn't dissipated completely. Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very long time.
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself a lot.
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time.
Surely someone would have noticed.
From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters. But most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Their interests become fanatical obsessions.
Well, that sounds a lot like something we've heard about.
Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an obsessive hoarder, amassing more and more possessions, even as he put himself in grave debt.
So what should we do now? Go down and take a look?
Horse.
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside.
That's dangerous.
If we don't open this door, we can move no closer to the truth. You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than this. Relatively speaking, the risk here is trivial.
Oh.
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. I can't see anything. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing.
That was too scary! Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to jump out at us!
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy source left this place. Two ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I fear much misfortune has already befallen them.
Let's hurry.
Yes, let's go. If nothing else, it's vital that we find out where this Tatarigami energy is coming from. Quiet your mind and focus on what you sense around you. Perhaps you too will perceive its ominous presence in the wind.
Elemental vision or whatever it's called. Oh! No, we actually are seeing it. We didn't have to do that. This is totally the house that other quest was in, though. I was referencing it earlier. I think we had to do that quest in order to get this pet lady with the paw symbol here to sell us the stuff that lets us capture animals. The net. Ubiquity or ubiquitous? Omni-ubiquitous net? Omni-ubiquity? I don't remember what it is.
From this point, the trail appears to split into two.
That looks sick.
The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here and seems to be dissipating slowly.
2 parts, so that would correspond to Mr. Nagato and Amenome Yuya.
Quite possibly. Let's search the area.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls! They're acting really strangely!
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
Y'all really had to.
No
Rack and ruin.
This could have been easy. Boy, you thought you were gonna deck me.
It's...
Ugh! Look at this red stuff! What is it?
By the looks of it, a letter written on a piece of torn clothing. The ink is bone dry. It must have been written quite some time ago. Well, let's take a look.
I am Nagato. I was wounded by Amenome Yuya. He took my most precious blade. I chased him but could not catch him. I lay down here to rest on account of my exhaustion. I thought that I might croak right here. My stomach kept on bleeding. But it seems that some strange power has sustained me. Why did he steal that blade? I was going to sell it to him. He even burned my warehouse down. Ah, it hurts. It hurts! But for some reason I can't fall unconscious, so all I can do to distract from the pain is write. What will happen to Sachiko, Yuichi, and Yuji? I am sorry to them. I really am. Only now do I realize how stuck in my ways I was and how blind to my obsession. I must have been cursed. I collected all those strange and bizarre things, but they won me not one iota of happiness or warmth. Put all of it together and it still wouldn't have been worth a single word from her mouth. Thank you, and sorry for letting you down, Sachiko.
According to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya wanted to seize a blade belonging to Mr. Nagato.
That seems too simple. Now, we could say that Yuya was also possessed by the T-word thing that I'm forgetting the name of.
Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could, eventually stopping here to write this letter when his strength gave out.
So, where is he?
Disappeared. He gone.
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters, and I'm afraid he may no longer be with us. Whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. There's nothing more for us to find here.
Let's ask the Tenryo Commission to do a thorough search later.
Yes. Right now, we need to uncover some more important truths. If Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then the longer we take to find him, the more people risk meeting the same tragic end.
Right, so let's get moving.
How did it come to this? It's not in his nature.
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, fell prey to the influence of the Tatarigami. For a practitioner of the martial arts, the easiest desire to inflame would be their pursuit of further power and skill. All the clues that at first seemed disparate and disconnected, it seems that now we know the thread that runs between them. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the two men's disappearance, but also zeroes in on the attacker's identity.
Wait, you figured it out? So these two cases are connected after all?
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search. We must stay vigilant. At any point now, we may find ourselves in danger.
Alrighty. Well, this is convenient. Although a lot of times that happens when you're going through these things. Gotta hit them just right. What is that? Oh, that bird fights, doesn't it? Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. Oh, I'm thinking of the ones from the water boss.
He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here? Is there anything special about this place?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I sense that the aura may have lingered here at several different points in time. Show yourself! It's no use hiding anymore.
It might be him. It looks similar so far.
Kaede Harakazua. It's you, at last.
Aha! So it is the same guy from before. What's your problem, huh? What could you possibly have against Kazuha?
And I called out the sword before because it looked interesting. I didn't recall ever seeing just a generic enemy with that kind of weapon, so that must be the one.
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Amenome Yuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Amenome Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
The blade?
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange light. Whoa, whoa! Surely you don't mean... Are you serious?
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to subtly affect any living organisms in its vicinity.
Like that boat. Don't touch the boat.
The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind, and more recently using the sale as a means to affect, or rather as a means to occupy, Amenome Yuya's body.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already deduced the truth of the matter. Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams.
And that explains why he fought in a similar style.
As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time and a little faith. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, his skill, it culminated in his creation of me. He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own. In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable achievement in the art of blade forging.
So... swords can become conscious and control people?
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one, but in all other respects an ordinary weapon. But that gave me the opportunity to take action. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way, each bringing me one step closer to my ancestral home. I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power, the might of Ishin art.
Ah, so Amenome Yuya was not your first victim. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
They commit Sudoku.
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my mission. When they got tired or injured or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma.
You're awful.
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Amenome Yuya handed himself over to me on a silver platter. At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenome Yuya's body, I have found you, and by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun.
So you know that he was able to stand up to her And you think by using his body, you're going to be able to actually defeat her.
Kaede Harakazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come.
That's what I said.
Now, give your body over to me! Submit to me! We shall rewrite history! Join me and sever that divine light!
Oh, get away from that. My E-key just made a loud noise there. Like there was something under it almost. Not today. This is a new keyboard, so that worried me a bit.
History!
One with nature.
There we go. In the spirit of the quest, use Kazuha.
I will strike you down too!
Your bluff's fooling no one! You've lost!
Lost? I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit, nothing more. Even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can take a new vessel at will.
Then we will smash you into pieces.
The end result is the same. I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a finger. And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure. By any means necessary, and any medium available, I shall return and fulfill my destiny!
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art. But from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance, as well as a thinly veiled mania and despair.
Really? You can tell all that just from his moves?
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art convey the user's thoughts and feelings. Since the blade is currently possessing Aminome Yuya's body, its movements express the innermost thoughts of the blade. If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition. You believe I am your only hope.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without you? On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin Art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface.
Then why do you need Kazuha's body so badly?
In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Well, then go beat her now. If you're gonna do something.
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner. Now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time. You were trapped.
You know, I almost called something out where he said that he stayed in the warehouse for a while. He said it as if he was the one in control, but I don't know if that was really the case. Maybe he was. Because I was like, well, he is a blade that can possess people, but maybe it took a while for the energies to really take over and make things start happening. And it reminds me of spoiler alerts for Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2. But in Metal Gear Solid, you kill Liquid Snake. And also, Revolver Ocelot loses an arm. In Metal Gear Solid 2, Revolver Ocelot has an arm again, and it's Liquid's arm. But at some point, it's as if the arm is taking over Ocelot, and he starts talking in Liquid's voice, and he's basically saying, "Why do you think I chose this old man as my host?" And I'm like, "Dude, you're part... Liquid died. How did you choose anything? If you were a sentient arm that can possess Ocelot, how did you choose anything?" Like, that part always kind of bothers me. Now, there's more to it if you get into the story, but it's a weird line, and it's the same kind of thing here. Like, I don't think you really had a choice. Even if you are possessing him and you are Liquid's actual consciousness, you just got lucky. You didn't get to... What did you have an agreement? If I die, put my arm on yours so I can take you over. Come on. So that's kind of what I was thinking, is like, did you really have a choice? You're just an inanimate object. If you were just stuck in that warehouse, you're lucky that you know, something eventually played out the way you wanted it to.
After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
There we go.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching his collectibles.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Aminoma Yuya and make your escape.
And what of it?
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so strong it threatens to overwhelm you. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy for you to bear. Each step you have taken has come at a great cost. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew, and the more you wished to run from the truth. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from achieving my goal.
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities and showed a blatant disregard for human life.
That goes against the art.
Even if you were to sever that divine light, is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired?
You...
Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your bidding. How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony between a blade and its bearer?
Silence, you blabbering fool!
You got him flustered.
I must achieve my goal. This was his life's dream, and the very purpose for which I was brought into being. I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly. But you also underestimate my resolve.
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing. I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection, and certainly not your so-called reality.
He's getting flustered like Captain Ginyu, where he's like, "No, you're seeing through me. You've got me beat at every turn here," and he's getting more frustrated, which is going to make him simultaneously more dangerous, but also, you know, in a way, he's going to be off his perfect form, if you will. Which, I mean, we've already been told he's not really... You know what I mean, though. He's going to be off form, but it's also going to make him more unpredictable. That's my guess. Is he going to commit Sudoku?
It is pointless to argue further. descendant of the Kaedahara clan. If you wish to save this man, then offer me your body in exchange.
How stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state. So let us make a bet, and I will put your strength to the test.
What? Surely you're not planning to agree to his demands.
He has to beat us. Kazuhara's gonna let himself get possessed and we fight him and we win.
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. A taste of my power will more than convince you. Once we have dealt with them, we shall proceed to Tenshukaku.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must release Amenoma Yuya from your control.
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
This is a risky strategy.
This is the only way to save Amenoma Yuya. If we don't do this, he'll forever be the Blade's puppet. The Cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. This suggests his heart is still not completely devoid of honor. The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Amenoma Yuya fell prey to it. Since I don't have any similar kinds of obsessions, I should be able to put up some resistance for a while.
But even so...
Even if things take a turn for the worse, I still have you both here with me. We have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to accept the risks entailed.
All right, fine.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. I agreed to this bet because there are things I wish to learn too. Now, take me in your hand.
What if he can tame it somehow? So is his voice going to change, or was that Yuya's voice? The grunt he did there almost sounded different.
Kazuha?
But I assume that was just Yuya's own voice.
I'm okay.
Okay, we're good.
I felt a little dizzy at first, but only for a moment. It's all right. So far, this was as I expected.
If something feels off, let me know immediately.
I will. Thank you.
What should we do next? Have you got a plan, Kazuha?
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash its true power. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense combat situation.
Wait a minute! Paimon remembers hearing about something from the Adventurers Guild. Since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin ever since.
That should fit the bill.
All right. Please lead the way.
What about Amenoma Yuya? What should we do with him?
You just leave him on this little island out here. Swim for it.
The blade says he'll let Amenoma Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness yet, he is not in any immediate danger.
Are we sure this is a good idea? It's a pretty treacherous journey. Okay, fine. Just be careful.
Oh!
Destiny has brought me hither.
Didn't expect that. I was looking to see if anything showed up to zoom us back this way. But I guess not. We'll probably go here and jump down. What's going on, Tusk? What are you up to, man? Missed you earlier on the Star Ocean stream. You were doing awesome. That's good to hear. Awesome. What is this thing doing? Apparently nothing. So we were trying to do the 3.3 quest, and it said I had to do this one first. So we're not even doing 3.3. Rip. What's going on, Fox Samurai? Oh, I totally thought that was Tusk because you both showed up like the same color on my end. I didn't recognize that it was both of you. Combo of 14. Occupied hold. This was once a secret holding of the Takatsukasa clan, which was taken over by Ronin after being abandoned. If you meet any resistance on the way in, well, might as well check how much strength remains in this mystical sword. It does happen that way. I was like, wait a minute, something's different. I forgot how good this music is.
Leave
so good.
On this journey to me.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Of course, no spoilers, but I'm wondering if I forgot about Swirl and stuff. I don't use Animo that often.
It's fine. How's this?
I like how they made me pick. They made me pick a party, but they're not here, so we'll find out later if they're gonna have to show up. I wouldn't be surprised.
Clouds high. The birds call. Into the wind.
Rip those dudes.
How are you feeling? You okay?
I'm all right. The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use and maintenance, it's become very difficult to use. Though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last much longer.
Trying to break it.
Something else on your mind?
How strange. Rather than trying to control me, he is instead trying to match my fighting rhythm. Let's keep going.
Can't leave stuff behind. Oh, this music slaps though. I'll never stop saying it because it's so good.
Let's get down to business.
Indeed, indeed.
One with nature.
What do you mean I don't have a Zhongli shield to use as a crutch for every fight right now?
Into the wind. As one with wind and cloud. The wind knows me.
To the very
Whoa. Something's up with the blade.
Yeah, it's grown dimmer.
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. The blade is becoming more and more difficult for me to wield. He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps persisting, he will likely break apart at any moment.
But what would that do to Amanome Yuya?
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give up easily. he's still trying to achieve his goal.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Music beautiful, elegant, and peaceful, even when fighting. I would agree with that. It's just really satisfying. Go. Had to make sure he had a chance to do that attack.
Time to go.
Let's go for it. Let's try to save the Q attack.
One strike will suffice.
Save it for the next fight. Can open up with a big boy. Smack me with that. It's rude.
Time to go.
Cut down like this.
Are you okay? It looked like you were really struggling the entire fight.
Yes. And it looks like he's reached his limit.
The sheen's grown a bit dimmer again. It doesn't look anywhere near as impressive as it did at the start.
Perhaps this time we'll finally have a chance to see his true form.
True form? What are you talking about?
What did it do?
What the? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk.
The wear and tear is severe. Really looks like it's about to break.
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi, much less the almighty Shogun. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has left you battered and broken. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy.
Dude, this man is a psychological beast. Will he listen to you? Though the truth is right there in front of him.
I finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then you would still be able to wield commendable power. But regrettably, we are nothing alike. I will never understand your obstinacy and cruelty, nor can I empathize with the one who made you.
No, I'm telling you, this man is on the mind games. Did not know Kazuha had that in him.
The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by the time you were born.
What's that supposed to mean?
Here they are. Take them down.
What's up with your voice?
Where do they keep coming from?
You shouldn't fight with this blade anymore.
Yep. We can help this time.
Don't worry. I'll use my own blade. It's just more of the same.
Oh, I lost my Q attack. So I guess I should use it when I get it. Whoa! Oh, I hit dodge, but I was just a hair off. Nice.
You fought way better with your own sword.
That's a pretty sick backdrop.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, you have seen me for who I really am. No one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell it to anyone. You are the first person to know the truth. I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would still be a ray of hope for me.
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, I could not attain that perfect harmony that your personal blade does with you. Too much time has passed. My physical state is poor, and without proper maintenance, I can only disguise my true appearance behind an outer sheen. Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what a magnificent blade it is. Perhaps I shall never reach that level of glory.
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up during my travels in Liyue.
Rip.
What?
Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but they are not everything. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during that time. Plus, in the moment that I most needed it, I received aid from another power. Skill, blade, determination, and desire. All these must be aligned in the practice of Ishin art. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your mania and savagery. Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami was constantly trying to seize control of my body.
I sensed it, but I couldn't change it. It is an integral part of my consciousness.
Yeah, what do you mean blades don't normally have consciousness? What are you talking about? That's crazy.
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. But I do not know whether you yourself have any intention of trying to fight it. I feel a great sense of regret for you. Since you embarked on a journey bound for a destination you were destined never to reach. The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential. And yet there was no way for you to turn your back on his ambition. You have known this for a long time. It is the true source of your despair.
He gave me everything. My life, my form, my consciousness, and purpose. How could I possibly deny him his wish? I said to him, "Do not worry. From here on, I shall forge your legacy." How could I go back on my word?
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled. I have nothing further to say.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. Let's give him some time to reflect on things.
Any items in here? Let's take a quick look. Yeah, I'm shocked by kind of the mind game element that Kazuha's been playing in this quest. He's a beast in that regard.
When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a strange dimension. It was somewhere I've never been. A bladesmith lay quietly on the bed, his frail face barely visible under the moonlight. His breaths were weak, and his life near its end. A newly forged blade lay by his side, listening attentively to his final words.
Yeah, Fox Samurai says, such an intelligent way to own a blade with words and a history of failure. Exactly.
Wow. That was the Blade's memory, wasn't it?
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. The Ishin art had been dealt a devastating blow by the desertion of its best smiths. He spent the rest of his life in the forge, not to vent his frustration and hatred, but to atone for his actions. He felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. His sole wish was to one day return his single, proudest creation back to the land of his birth. So he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazuma, no matter how long or how hard the journey. But he never wished to rival the gods. All he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliantly as blade and smith, that they were still worthy of being trusted.
So that's the true story. But after that, the blacksmith's intentions were warped by the Tatarigami, slowly turning his proud creation into the cursed blade of today.
Right. I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked with was that of the Tatarigami. The hatred within that power is what sent the blade down its ill-fated path. This blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only because it lost its original master. No one was there to correct its errors when it was losing its way.
I'm having some interesting thoughts. I'll save them for after the conversation.
Shame it's too late now.
Yes, it is too late. Time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, his ambition remained stubbornly stuck at that fleeting moment at the dawn of his journey. He seems to have calmed down, though. Let's go and check in.
So it's a little bit unrelated to this quest, but, well, a lot unrelated to the quest itself, but just an interesting thought. The idea of forging a blade and relying on these, like, different powers and stuff, I'm wondering if something like that will be possible in Dwarf Fortress once the magic update hits. Because some of it is giving me similar vibes to what was described, like, 5 years ago in the PC Gamer interview about the magic system. Now that the Steam version is out, they're going to be releasing... They're going to finish up Arena mode, Adventure mode, and they're also talking about a creative mode to let people just kind of build interesting worlds and stuff. So that's going to take some time, but it seems like they're also starting to focus more on, like, getting that magic system going now. But in Dwarf Fortress timescale, that's probably going to be 3 or 4 years. But I'm wondering if the way the magic system was described, where different, like, say a god dies in the lore, in the generation of the world, say like an ancient god dies over a forest, and the god was known for compassion, then that forest may have, like, magic, like compassionate healing magic or something, right? But if the god was known for malevolence, then that may become like an evil forest, and the magic associated with may be tainted. And you'll see a lot of, like, you know, more horrible creatures and things coming out of that area. I'm wondering if that kind of thing can also be incorporated into, like, weapons and crafting and stuff. That'd be pretty interesting. And you kind of make stories and things just like we're seeing here. That'd be fascinating to see that in a scale of something like Dwarf Fortress, where it's all, you know, procedural generation and emergent gameplay. That would be cool. Just leave it to me to talk about Dwarf Fortress in the middle of this.
When I look back at the past, I can remember the day of my forging like it was just yesterday. I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill his wishes. Such was the debt I owed to him for giving me the gift of consciousness. But darkness and slaughter numb the mind. Over time, I lost sight of the difference between gratitude and grudge. Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition, I also defiled it.
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will honor the agreement and release Amenoma Yuya. But I still cannot bring myself to forsake his ambition. It is the entire purpose for my existence. So, may I ask you to help me fulfill the ambitions of myself and my creator?
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix, too? Jeez, don't push your luck, mister.
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say. And if you don't agree, I will still release Amenoma Yuya as promised. My physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should still be of some value to you.
His attitude has grown a lot milder.
It's a long con, don't trust him.
What do you think, Kazuha? Should we give him a chance?
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already terminally ill. He told me that he had wanted me to have the grandest opening battle. Alas, after that, he never rose from his sickbed again. Nor have I ever had the chance to prove myself in battle since. My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were merely the next step in my never-ending journey. The next in a long line of transgressions. You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in battle and experience a true duel between samurai.
Oh? And who would be the opponent?
I will release Amenoma Yuya and restore his consciousness. Perhaps after that, you can convince him to commit to a fight with you. You must have plenty of reasons to both hate me and desire a good fight.
Yeah, we'll see. Told he's pretty mild.
Understood. Then let's start by waking him up and seeing if he has the stamina and will to fight.
Anemone, sorry.
He used my body to inflict harm on others.
I hate how quick those goes. They go so fast, and then I did like the wrong syllable, and it just broke my brain. Amenoma Yuya. I mean, it's fine. We know what happened. He regained consciousness. But those things go so fast, they just like... You're done. You got like 4 seconds, if that.
I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by releasing me, he must still have some remaining semblance of honor. If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I am willing to put myself forward.
Actually, I kind of complain about those a lot, Fox Samurai. I wish, like, sometimes when they're the really big, long text ones, they do let you, like, they put up a thing that says, you know, press a button to continue. I wish they would all do that, because some of them, they'll pull up, like, 2 or 3 lines of dialogue and only give you a few seconds to read it. And I'll read it, like, really fast, and I still barely have enough time, if that. It doesn't help that I'm reading it out loud, but still.
I do not wish to be a mere victim in this story.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch for your innocence to the Tenryu Commission.
Thanks for your help. Who knows how this would have ended without your intervention.
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. We can't stay here. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a greater sense of ceremony.
Let's see. Give me that chest. I better not be out of, like, artifact space or something. I sense it. Okay, good. How do I do the thing that lets you, like, cash in artifacts for a targeted one? Do I have to do a quest? It's like a box or something, right? Do I have to do a quest to get that? Because I never got around to doing it. And it'd be nice. That happened when I was still not really keeping up and not really playing. So there's still a lot of things that I kind of missed out on. Should be in Liyue. Alright, I'll probably give it a search when I'm ready to try it. So this kind of put a damper on my 3.3 stuff, since this was blocking that quest. No spoilers, but I'm still very curious why. I'm guessing Kazuha's involved, but we'll find out. But I'll be doing that next week. Oh, it's just one of those? Okay, that's easy. I'll maybe prioritize doing that one pretty quickly once I finish the 3.3 and get caught up. Like, the last stuff I was doing was the Golden Slumber stuff to get security clearance stuff in the desert. Because I was like, that was blocked from so many things without doing that. Like, so many puzzles and stuff. I was like, alright, let's get this quest. That quest was sad.
This reminds Paimon a bit of the Crux Crash.
The biggest reason it was sad was there were so many things that just kind of made me reflect on myself. But there are other aspects as well, but that was what kind of hit me the most. I'm like, no, it's me! That was a much more relaxed occasion.
Yep, we still can't let our guard down. Even now, Paimon has a sneaking suspicion that Blade hasn't told us everything. Still, even if he's way past the point of redemption, it's hard not to feel a teensy bit sorry for him. Are you ready?
Ready? Okay. All right then. Successor of Ishin Art, Kaedahara Kazuha.
Successor of Amenoma Art, Amenome Yuya.
There's a moment of truth.
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is my honor also.
Do we get to do it? Yep. He's still drawing.
One with nature. Time to go. The wind knows me.
Got that weave game.
One with nature. Clouds high. The birds call. The wind knows me. Time to go.
One thing I like about this quest is that in a lot of quests, I just fall back on my main party. I'll check out who they're giving me a chance to use, but then I'll fall back on my main party. I kind of like, it's like in the spirit of the quest. It's like, no, you actually use this person.
Although he appears battered and broken, in your hands it seems he's regained a glimmer of brilliance. His sense of savage cruelty has completely faded away.
Look at that dude back there.
That same sense of determination remains strong.
You also fought well. I'm sure he relished the experience. There are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you himself.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness, nor do I have the right to forgive you on your victim's behalf. It is too late for all of that.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone, and not let them stain the legacy of Ishin Art. I strayed far from the straight and narrow path, but the Ishin Art still has a worthy successor in Kaedahara Kazuha. I beseech you, please understand this.
Yes, I too trust Mr. Kaedahara to do the right thing.
Thank you, successor of Amenoma Art.
Amenoma. If they make me read it again, I'll try to do better.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like to visit the Amenoma smithy. Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want to go there for?
I'm not sure, but I think that all this is about to come to an end.
I think what got me on that was like, it was so, I knew it was going to be one of those fast texts. Yeah, look at you. Dude, you're so cool. Hold on. Can I do it? I think I may have got one before. I think I did, actually. Where's it at? Here.
I created another universe and...
Hey, hey, buddy. Yeah, I think it's soon. Yeah, I think I did. I remember when I unlocked the Omni Ubiquity Net, I ran around for like how long? Hold on, which one of these? Sumeru. Okay. I ran around for like 30 plus minutes looking for a damn fox. Because that's like all I wanted. I was like, I need a fox. I need a fox. Give me a fox. Where are they at? But yeah, I think that the thing is like that when I jacked up the name Amenoma, it's because like I knew it was gonna be one of those really fast things, and that also just like put the pressure on, and it just like again it broke my brain. That was amusing. One thing I'm curious about, and maybe Fox Samurai knows, if you do auto on text, there used to be a problem. I'm wondering if they fixed this, and I don't want to find out the hard way. Sometimes, like earlier in this quest, there's a like a letter that'll pop up, and like a big, you know, block of text, like we read the letter. Or someone will hand you a note or something, and that'll pop up over the screen. But if you had auto on, it used to keep playing the dialogue while that was over the screen, and it would like they're doing scenes and animations and interactions and stuff, but you've got the letter up on the screen. And I hope they fixed that. I hope they stopped that from happening. But that's why I don't use auto. I'd love to let the text auto play, but it's really not good when it's like pops up something for you to read and they just keep doing stuff in the background and you can't really see it. You gotta wait until it gives you a dialogue choice for them to stop.
Oh, it's Yuya! You have returned!
I am sorry to have troubled you. It's all thanks to them that I was able to return safely.
You tell Amenoma Togu about the various things. Oh my god!
Genshin blade, turned weapon that controls the human mind. Considering their forging philosophy, this was indeed within the realm of possibility. This is a great pity. But I have some good news as well. Ryuji, from the Bonton Sango Detective Agency, tells me that they've found the missing Mr. Nagato.
Yeah, that's interesting. Is he alive? His text initially sounded like he was going to live, because I think he said something like, I thought I was going to die. But it also sounded like he got stabbed in the stomach or something, and things were getting pretty bad. So, let's see. I assume this game does have a lot of sad moments, but something tells me he might have just been hanging on.
Really? Is he okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Badly wounded, but he will live. And now that Yuya is back, it seems like the final ending to this story is a happy one after all.
I think I know what you want to do.
Do you want to, like, be destroyed? Do you want to be reforged?
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade whispering in your ear again?
Yes. He said he wants to take control of me for a brief moment.
But it's okay. They're gonna freak out, but it's okay.
What? No way! Hasn't it learned its lesson?
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. And he assures me that he won't use my body for anything nefarious. I have decided to let him do it.
Guess there's nothing we can say to change your mind, huh?
I trust your judgment.
Thank you. I will explain my reasons later. Okay. I am ready. Let us begin. Please, stay true to your promise.
Movie? Yeah.
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean?
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness.
Oh, and then he's gonna leave. Right. He's forcing it.
There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin.
Nice.
Is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
Leave it to this game to make me feel sad for a sword. After leaving the Amanoma Smithy, you learn of the blade's final words from Kazuha.
That's why he said it had to be done in that order. His consciousness will disappear forever after fulfilling the bladesmith's wish.
Kagotsurube Ishin. It was the first time I ever heard his name.
Is that actually his 5-star weapon? Because, like, every character tends to have a 5-star weapon associated with them. Or, not every, but I don't know about all the 4 stars, right? But a lot of characters do.
It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions, and thus chose to bury this name deep within his heart. Only in the final moments, before his consciousness faded, was he willing to entrust it to another.
Seems like he really wanted to fulfill his maker's wish.
The same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep going forward also fueled the stubborn determination that blinded him to the path ahead. Speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes than see him punished for them.
The remnants of defeated gods are nothing to scoff at.
I understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my personality. I've always been captivated by grand aspirations. Hearing his wish to rival the divine light touched something inside of me, just as the sight of those who fought to repeal the Vision Hunt decree did. Your quest to face the gods and trace your sibling inspires me in the same way. After everything I've seen, perhaps these pursuits fascinate me a little more than they should.
Oh, Kazuha?
I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance whenever you need it.
Thank you.
Wait, shouldn't we also go update Kujo Kamaji?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're right. We need to tell him about the findings of our investigation. And it's also time to give him a response to the offer he made me.
Alright, let's do the wrap-up. That was a good scene. Like I said, leave it to this game to make me feel sad for a sword, for a blade. This game is really good at making me sad. Is there a reason we don't go this way? I'm going to disobey the breadcrumbs. I wonder what pathfinding algorithm they use for them. It's A star? I mean, I feel like it would have... I don't know. A star is really common. It's pretty cheap. I don't know as much about how to apply A star to a fully 3D, you know, non-tiled world. Where I have most experience with it, it's in like grids and stuff. Let's go.
You've returned. I hear that the issue has been resolved. Though this was a treacherous investigation indeed, we're most fortunate that no lives were lost. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse. The investigation into Amanoma Yuya should conclude soon. I do not believe he will be charged with any crime.
Wow, you sure kept your ear to the ground.
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer. Please, take a look at this blade.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin. A weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaidahara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study and pass on the secrets of Ishin art.
And then he's sitting there like, him? What do you mean? It's just a sword.
And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
I see. I understand.
The Kaidahara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths, so it is only proper for me to continue on this path. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate and Sangonomiya. That would not suit me.
Yeah, I think this quest is pretty old, because I don't really know where we're at on that now, but I think we calmed those down quite a bit. We had a whole meeting and everything. I feel like we kind of calmed the tensions down a lot. I mean, it's probably not perfect, but Kokomi was it was Kokomi, right? Doing like some mad negotiations.
You misunderstand. That was most certainly not our intent.
I am aware, but I still desire to continue walking my own path.
Very well, I can understand. Then let's pretend this offer was never raised. However, if you should ever change your mind or find yourself in need of the Shogunate's assistance, please do not hesitate to inform me.
Great. Thank you for your generosity.
Where will you travel to next, Kazuha?
Maybe Sumeru for a 3.3 quest?
I'll probably take to the seas with Captain Beto again for now. As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.
Beautiful. That was a good quest.
You must have a whole bunch of questions after our last conversation with Nahida. Paimon was ready to ask her a million more questions, but didn't want to seem too pushy. Like, about these descenders.
Yes.
So, does that just mean people like you who come traveling to Teyvat from someplace else? And as for your brother... so many questions. Let's go find Nahida and see what else we can find out.
Uh-huh. Yep, that definitely is 3.3 there. And I'm very eager to find out. I mean, we're going to find out next week, so unfortunately it's going to be a bit. But I'm definitely eager to find out why that was a prereq of all things. There we are, Inversion of Genesis. Dude, that's a sick name. That could be a metal album name right there. That's a metal album title. Not... Oh, that sounds sick. Inversion of Genesis. I love it. The nightbird falls at the curtain's call. In order to look for more information about your sibling, you and Paimon decide to visit Nahida in the sanctuary of Surasthana once more. Along the way, you hear people discussing something. So, we got a couple things going on.
The glory of the Prinzessin bring light to this world.
Oh, I don't recognize that one as much. I think I have heard it, but I didn't recognize that one as much. So here's my plans. We're gonna do that next time. The next quest we're gonna do after that might be the Divina Volpes, because we started it. We have another one that we started recently that was like about tea and stuff in Liyue. But that was a very, very short and quick intro. And I was kind of okay with saying we'll do that one another time, because there wasn't a lot of dialogue that started out. The Volpes one here, which should be Yaimiko, this one had a bit more going on in the intro with the wishing and everything, and I'd like to do that while it's a little more fresh. So what I'm thinking is next time we'll do this here for 3.3, then after that, we'll probably hit up the Great Narakumi Offering. And then we'll maybe look into that artifact box, or... I mean, that's still a couple weeks, and I don't know when we're going to get 3.4, but... I always like the Archon quests are going to take precedence. But that's kind of my plan for now. So, it's been good. Puts me right about to the time I wanted to end today. I will say that was a beautiful quest. I actually really liked it. A lot of great moments there, and I like, I mentioned before, I like how it is a Kazuha quest, and it kind of fits along with the ideas of like the honor and stuff, which I'm not always a big fan of, but I kind of made that point early in the quest when we did have the option to use the full party, and I was like, in the spirit, I mean, I still had Zhongli shields out, but in the spirit of the quest, let's fight as Kazuha. And that domain was like, use Kazuha, and it forces you to, but I thought it was done in a great way that really kind of drove home the point of the quest as well. So I quite enjoyed that, and really liked the way everything wrapped up and resolved. And something I commented earlier on that I didn't want to say it in a way like I don't like the quests in the game, but it was like the kind of the perfect length for one of these quests, in my opinion. I don't want to say that other quests necessarily drag on, but some of them are really lengthy to the point where I think they could be split into like 2 smaller quests. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes you're in the middle of what ends up being a 4 to 5 hour quest, and you're like, you're at a point and it's like, can I stop now, or is there only like 20 minutes left? You know, like, it can be difficult to gauge on those really long quests. So I felt like that was kind of the perfect length for what I want in a quest. Like, I don't mind if it's like 2 quests that build up to something longer, and you release them together.
The sun's out. This meteorological transformation is most splendid.
Breaking character.
Like a twist of fate in the face of certain doom.
That's a big plant. It's like a turnip or something. Yeah, that to me is like, they can release them at the same time. Oh. Feed the puppy? What do you... Yes! Yes, I'm gonna do that! There's a dog over there. How to get there? Get something. Let's get something to eat. Dude, he's such a good boy. What do we do? Do we drop some meat? How do we feed him? I have no idea how to feed him. That's not gonna work. It'll just discard. It's just gonna discard. How do I feed this friend? You know how to do this, Fox Samurai? No interaction. You follow me? You do. How far do you follow? Because he wasn't following me the other direction. We have to just find the bowl? Okay. Come on this way. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. Oh, it's... Oh, this here. I just wish you could pet them. Alright, I don't think I had anything else I wanted to say on the quest. I think I kind of summarized all my thoughts there on the quest. Really happy with it. Really looking forward to doing the actual 3.3 stuff next time. That'll be on Sunday. Of course, this is my weekly Genshin session. And I won't have to work the next day. So I might do a little bit of extra, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how long it goes. But I might be willing to do a little bit of extra since I don't need to worry about getting rest and stuff quite as much. Yeah, don't do that, Tusk. I hope you didn't do that. I hope you didn't do that. There was a thing I saw one time on online, like a meme or something. I don't remember the exact context, but it talked about like putting a toothpick under your toenail and kicking a wall, and you can capture dogs. Anyway, it talked about putting a toothpick under your toenail and kicking a wall, and then it turns out there are people who did that on like there's YouTube videos of people actually doing that. And I'm like, oh, why? I have a bunch of dogs in the teapot, but I haven't been to the teapot in ages, to be honest. But I have like 4 or 5 dogs in there. Just from back when the teapot first launched, I like bought them or whatever, and from the traders that would show up. Alrighty though. So anyway, let's wrap up. No more random dogs and stuff. Gave my thoughts on the quest. Looking forward to 3.3. Fun to spend a little time in Inazuma because it's been a while. So thank you to anyone who showed up with your lurk and chat and masturbating. Whatever you like to do while you watch the stream, I appreciate it. If you like Genshin Impact or Star Ocean or War Fortress, Caves of Cod, programming, all the stuff that I'm doing right now, or any other kind of game, because I do play lots of different kinds of things. You hit that follow button here on Twitch, I would appreciate that. Leave that notification bell on to be notified when I go live. If you would please do so, I would appreciate that. You could also head over to YouTube, or if you're watching this in the future on YouTube, congrats on being in the future. And you do all the fun YouTube stuff over there, like, subscribe, notification bell, comment. You know how it works. I do read my comments and I try to respond to them. So that's all fun. You can also, I started mentioning this recently, but some people complained about Twitch notifications, and I've like always tweeted every time I go live. So that's another way you can turn the notifications on over there on Twitter if you want to see when I go live. I don't do too much else on there other than like retweet pictures of foxes and stuff usually. Just like random things. But that's about it. So again, thank you to anyone who's hanging out and everything today. I really appreciate it. And Until next time, have a good day, have a good night, whatever it is, wherever you're at. Take it easy. And I appreciate that, Fox Samurai. Thanks for hanging out today. And you as well, Tusk.
I do worry about the well-being of my retinue during my impromptu absence.
I'm sure the good people of the Adventurers Guild are absolutely fine, mein Fräulein.
I was a North American fall webworm in my past life. Ah, those were the good old days. What were you in your former life?